Hey guys, what's up? We're here with a timeless reading. Welcome. The first card that we have out is Ten of Swords, and we also have Ace of Cups. Oh, and we also have Seven of Wands. All right. Having Ten of Swords, but then Ace of Cups is when we go through something and it feels painful, and even though it's over now, Ace of Cups feels like, so you go through this and it can feel like maybe this is really just what's on your mind currently. I went through this was a lot. Maybe you feel like you haven't totally processed this. Having Ace of Cups come, it feels like this is something that can really help you step into the next chapter, but there can be a part of you that feels very much still sort of tangled up within this, so it may be hard for you to connect with the Ace of Cups. So this can be coming from a place within you where you're like maybe not particularly open to that. Or even too, you could be like, maybe trying to focus on connecting and maybe not wanting anything to disturb that. Maybe you are trying to sort of heal right now. But I kind of get the feeling of, yeah, maybe you can be taking time to heal and you don't want anything to get in the way of that. It can be healing, it can be feeling, it can be recovering. It's something, when we have the Ace of Cups, it's something that we can connect with, and it can be a new chapter of connection. And this definitely feels like I'm trying to connect with myself. Ace of Cups is also the thing that we feel like inspires us as well. And so you can be like, maybe not wanting anything to get in the way of this. Maybe you're like, I just went through the Ten of Swords. I'm not trying to immediately jump into something that can maybe go that way. And so having that Ace of Cups, you can feel like you just want to focus on yourself right now. This can be the start of something new within your life where it can maybe bring you back to life after going through something that took you for quite a ride mentally. Maybe you don't want anything to disturb this. I kind of feel like you're giving the Ace of Cups to yourself, to that part of you that's been through these things. It feels like offering the Ace of Cups to that part of yourself and saying like, hey, let's get reconnected now. And you may feel protective of that process, like you don't want anything else to disturb this part of your process right now. And you can feel like that's just where your energy needs to be currently. And you can maybe feel like kind of guarded or not open to other things because of that. Yeah, I get this feeling again of there's a really delicate, what you can see as maybe being a delicate process taking place, and so you can feel very protective over that, like not wanting anything to get in the way of this. For some of you, there can be another person involved in this, but I am definitely reading it at least as being connected with yourself. Maybe you feel like this is all you can do right now and you can't really go further than that. Because we have Two of Wands coming out next, and I almost feel like there's something coming in your direction being like, what's the plan? And you being like, hey, I'm in the middle of doing this right now. Like, I can't give you an answer. So maybe you have somebody like pressuring you, or maybe you're just feeling the pressure for you to come up with the next steps where you're like, I'm in the middle of trying to do this right now. Like, I can't be worried about that. And so even if this pressure is coming from yourself, you can be saying to yourself like, hey, we don't need to worry about that right now. I'm just focused on this. It feels like needing to get this to take root even first. I kind of may even feel like a recovery, because the Ace of Cups can come through feeling like there's a risk to allow yourself to feel or to allow yourself to connect after going through the Ten of Swords, which can feel like when we go through something intense like that, it can be hard to allow ourselves to reconnect because of the intensity and I think like the rawness of what we can be feeling. So you can feel very protective of not, I think, overwhelming yourself, even if just something little is being asked, because two of Wands can be just a small, where are we going? What direction is this taking? I'm just looking for some type of direction or decision. And even though it can be very small, like just what's the next step after this, you can be looking at that and being like, that's not right now in this moment. And so you can feel like it's not even ready to, you're in the process of taking one step. You don't need to worry about what's a step ahead from that. So even though Two of Wands doesn't feel like a whole lot of pressure, you can feel like I'm just focused on this right now, because it looks like the next steps that are going to be taken are going to be kind of different. And because of that, you can feel like maybe it's just a little bit too overwhelming when you're just trying to do this right now. Maybe you don't want to be overwhelmed by things that feel like too new, unfamiliar. When something is new, there needs to be, I think, mental flexibility and openness to be receptive. You can feel like you are just starting to gain that back right now. Get this feeling again of you being just really focused on yourself. Things are going to move quickly, I'd say. But it feels kind of like you're on a new path or on a different path, and things are progressing. Could have even felt like at a point being at a crossroads and then choosing a new way, choosing a different way, choosing something that you hadn't explored and being open to that. And it feels like things move very quickly. Even though something's new, it feels like it progresses quickly. Or even though something's different or unfamiliar, it feels like it progresses quickly. Maybe because there isn't that familiarity to sort of hold you back. You know, sometimes something can be done effectively or even more effectively, but because we're used to doing it a certain way, that we can just do what's familiar rather than maybe what's most effective in the scenario. I'm seeing you be in a situation where you don't really have that familiarity there. And so I'm seeing you actually be able to progress faster because you're not familiar with what's going on. Like the path that you're traveling down. So you don't have routine to really hold you back. Because, you know, sometimes even we can get in that familiarity and like sometimes even that lack of creativity. Even like a laziness sometimes of like, I know where I'm going. I don't really have to think about it, but there may be better ways to do things. This feels like because of being in a situation that doesn't feel super familiar, that you're just able to have new eyes here and that things move really quickly because of that. I'm seeing King of Pentacles and I'm seeing Ace of Pentacles. We have some Taurus energy here. I was seeing Virgo wanting to come out, but the Hierophant came out instead of Hermit. I feel like grooves are going to be able to be developed, but it's going to take some time for that to happen. When I see the King of Pentacles and Ace of Pentacles and the Hierophant, I feel kind of like this can be a new chapter of you stepping into something that feels somewhat prestigious or important to you, or that it holds weight. Even though it's just the beginning of this, it can be something that holds a lot of importance. There can even be a feeling of reverence for this as well. And I feel too like the position that you're stepping into, it feels very important, or whoever's presenting this with you feels important to you, and you would also be part of that too. So this is something that you'd have maybe some respect and admiration for. This can even be a position that you're being offered. I'm seeing that it would be something that feels like there's a lot of responsibility. You can be hired to be doing something. For some of you, this can be being hired to do some type of teaching, some type of guiding, or this would be a role of where you would hold some position of authority. This can be somebody that's hiring you to, what could they be doing? Hiring you to teach, hiring you to guide. This can be like disseminating some type of information. This would be something that you already know about though. Because having the Hierophant be here, this can be like you can be hiring somebody that you feel like would be a professional in a particular field, or you would be the person that can be hired to be doing this. And it can be like a certain field, it could be within a certain community. It feels like there's a specialty that's connected with this, or there could be like certain rules that have to be regarded. I get like reverence, respect, something like that. And there being an initiation. Feel too like for those of you that you'd be the Hierophant in this setting, this would be something that you know whatever this is that you would be doing. Like very learned in that way. To the point where you could even be seen as being masterful in this position. Having something to teach. This can be you being looked to for guidance, looked to for knowledge. Or for those of you that you're the King of Pentacles, you can be hiring somebody that you see as being like that. But there is some type of issue I'm seeing. Having 7 of Pentacles and having 5 of Wands would mean that like something's going on, but there's some type of issue with how to sort of take care of this, or how to continue things. So you can feel like there's being in the middle of a process that's taking place, and then feeling like something has to be worked out in order for things to continue past this point. If this isn't worked out, you can feel like things just can't progress past this. Something has to be addressed, something has to be figured out, and it looks to like collaboration, cooperation is going to be part of this as well. Can be reconciling differences too. That can be part of this. I feel like there has to be an emotional openness for this to be happening as well. And there can also be some type of some type of something may need to be put to an end in order for things to evolve past this point. Or there would need like some big type of change. And there can also be a need to surrender. Maybe to something that's happening, just the force of something that's happening here. When initially there could be sort of a fighting against that. Yeah, looking at the Ace of Cups and the Ace of Pentacles, it's like the Ace of Cups is going one direction and then the Ace of Pentacles is going another. So I'm seeing some type of exchange that's happening. It feels like if there are two energies here, one energy is saying like, here, have this, I can connect you with something important, and then the other energy is saying like, here, I'll give you this in exchange. It feels like that. So it feels like mutually there's something that's being offered there. Like it's not just like one person saying, here, have this, and then that's happening. It feels like it's like both, like Hierophant is offering King of Pentacles something and King of Pentacles is offering Hierophant something. This feels like this would be a new or different experience if this was to be embarked upon, and that's where some of the stuff that needs to be worked out can come from. Yes, I'm getting confirmation of this. Okay, so where does this leave us? Initially, there may be a feeling of not being totally open to something. Then I feel like there's an openness and things move forward and progress. It almost even looks like kind of a bit of a transaction that takes place of some sort. But also, too, there can be, if this were to continue past the point that I'm seeing here with the Seven of Pentacles, it does seem very much like something is going to have to be addressed here. I am seeing the Death card, so I do get the sense of maybe something needing to be released so things can evolve further. I'm seeing something ending, I'm seeing a new chapter beginning, and this feels different than what has been explored before. So this is going into a place that is... This is going into a place that hasn't been stepped into before in some way. Investing in this new chapter. Maybe also too not giving up as well. One of the parties can also kind of feel like there's a lot coming at them too. Like maybe something feels overwhelming because it's like so unfamiliar. I kind of get that. Because if we're looking at that energy being connected with the Hierophant here, this can be somebody that's in a fixed energy or have a lot of earth energy. And this can be somebody that like needs time to adjust. And that can be something that feels a little bit stressful. And maybe too, there are also things that are going on behind the scenes that can make for like a little bit of a bumpy adjustment, because it's not like we automatically just start with an ace here. We start with a 10. And so it almost feels like something that's in the midst of closing out, that's what we start with. So we don't start immediately with that new chapter. It feels like something's in the process of happening, and so there can be a little bit of wires getting crossed, or something coming in before something else is something new coming in potentially before something else is closing out. And so there can be something that has to be worked out that's associated with this, and why there may not be like a full total opening until maybe later down the line, until something has fully closed. So something can even be possibly put on hold and planned for like a little bit later, but then when that time comes, I'm seeing things move pretty quickly. So it's like, well, once this finishes or once this happens, then there can be like a talk about figuring out things after that. Like maybe a plan can be made, like an investment can happen at that point. It is connected with a new chapter that's happening. It feels too like this may actually be good timing, because it feels like this can even give a connection that one is looking for and can explore in a new way that can feel kind of fresh, and that can be something that can be looked forward to. For some of you too, there can also be some type of issue, because if there are two new chapters happening at the same time and they kind of are somewhat similar to one another, there may have to be something that's being worked out that's associated with that, like maybe even something being chosen. Like, is that the path that's going to be taken, or is this the path that's going to be taken? Because I'm seeing two things. It feels like two chapters that there's potential for them to open up, and there may have to be a choice that's made. Like maybe only one of them can be picked, because I'm seeing them sort of arrive at the same time, and so there can be like something that has to be worked out about the timing of things, because it may feel like too much all at once, and so something has to be worked out that's connected with that. And once that happens, things can move forward after that point. I'm seeing Taurus, I'm seeing Uranus, I'm also seeing Scorpio on the bottom of the deck. I'm seeing King of Pentacles, and I'm seeing Queen of Cups. So, water energy, earth energy. There can also be a need for one to take an approach where they are choosing the direction of things. Once direction is chosen, it feels like things move very, very quickly. It looks like things progress very quickly, and like it's okay, this is happening now, like things are on. And I'm seeing even one feel like there's a like finalized position that one is in. All right, my friends, we are going to leave the reading here. I would like to thank everyone for connecting. Thank you for tuning in. I am sending everybody love, and I hope to catch you guys next time.